Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hejin Lee with a morning update for Bitcoin. The news or event shall arrive to justify the forecast. Coinbase ordered to report 14,355 users to the IRS. Anyone moving more than 20,000 on the platform is subject to the new order. This goes to the saying, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and Caesar is coming out to take what is his. If this is going to cause a further correction in Bitcoin, it would clearly befit the news that would help justify the forecast of the correction. Now, Coinbase is a CEX, C-E-X, centralized exchange. And I've said this before in my past blogs. The lowest hanging fruit for the government to regulate are the centralized exchanges. Whether it be Coinbase, whether it be Poloniex, whether it be Kraken, I don't care which one. If they are centralized exchange, they become the lowest hanging fruit for the government to start regulating and tossing around and ordering and coercing. The fact that Bittrex delisted Bitshares, a decentralized exchange, I don't think was an accident. That is one of the reasons why I have been extremely bullish proponent of Bitshares, and I don't care if it's correcting right now. That doesn't bother me an iota. I may be wrong, but the event or news or whatever that could provide a phenomenal popularity, maybe even overnight, for Bitshares, a decentralized exchange, is when the IRS or the SEC or the governments in collusion try and fully regulate in the name of safety, security, anti-terrorism, taxation, whatever that reason that they give, can put out a blanket regulation across the centralized exchanges. Can you imagine the mad dash out of the centralized exchanges to the decentralized exchange? Do you think the IRS would be able to order Bitshares.org a list of all of their accounts having more than $20,000 moved? How will the government or the IRS order a decentralized exchange to do such a thing? It will be impossible. And this will come more and more. This is just the foreplay of the government. This is just the beginning, innuendos, the prelude, until they become a lot more forceful and aggressive. Now, I'm not saying that the IRS has no right to collect taxes. Absolutely, you got to pay your taxes if you're a citizen of the country. But My position, my motto for the blog: opt out of fiat and opt into cryptos. If you ever took economics, there's a law called the Gresham's Law. And the Gresham's Law was taught to me by my wife when I go grocery shopping. Whenever I take an item off the shelf, my wife has trained me very well to take it from the back of the shelf, not from the front. Take it from the back. Because the shop owner or the supermarket, they want to get rid of the old, quote unquote, the bad products first, and they put that in the front. And they put the good, fresh products in the back. Now, Gresham's law states that bad money drives out the good. So in my grocery shopping example, the bad money is hidden in the back. The good money is hidden in the back. The good, fresh products are hidden in the back because the bad products, the presence of the older, not as fresh items, they are causing the shop owner to hide the good products. So in this case, if you have two currencies, the cryptocurrencies and the fiat, and bad money drives out the good money, you're going to see people opting out of the fiat and going into the cryptos. And that hasn't even started yet. We haven't even scratched the surface of that yet. Can you imagine once the fiat, and I think what probably takes down the fiat is a massive deflationary tsunami that comes. Not a hyperinflation. I don't believe so. I think it'll be more of a massive deflation and debt implosion. But I won't go further into that. But still, in my opinion, Bitshares is to be bought and almost never sold. And you can buy Bitshares on Poloniex. You can buy Bitshares on bitshares.org. That's the address for the decentralized exchange. You easily set up a free account and start transferring money and assets into there. It may seem complex a little bit, but people who have used Poloniex, it'll be a lot easier. It's very similar to Poloniex and the trading mechanisms. They also have open ledgers. They have a BitUSD equivalent, which has a 200% collateral, which gives the most stable USDT value that I've seen. USD value, United States dollars fiat value. So read about it, learn about it, check out the site, bitshares.org. Founded by Dan Larimer, who I think has gifted the world, just as Satoshi Nakamoto has, with an endearing gifts from their intelligence, from their intellect. And Dan Larimer's ardent desire is to better the human state, especially for the poor and the underprivileged. That is an honorable man. Okay, so what the heck is going on with Bitcoin? Last night we left with this. The wave 1 was not wave 1. The wave A was very deep. saw a three-wave retracement. Look, this is very three-wave. A, B, C. It was, when it's three waves, it's corrective. Now we're going to see the C wave down. So let me correctly label this. I made it a high degree of trend just to make it look bigger, that's all. It's not exactly correct, but that's not going to make you profits. For those of you who are learning how to do elite wave counts, there will be two phases that you will go through. The first is the mechanics of counting. Second is the application of the counting. And the third is a higher level, and you might plateau in each level. And you might plateau in the mechanics of it and then in the application of it, and from your advancement or progression or improvement. And what I mean by that is, just like any human endeavor, like playing as a cellist. After 3 years, I thought I was pretty good. After 5 years, I thought I was not bad, even better. And then a hot shot maybe after 8 or 10 years. But after 15, 20 years, I realized I'm still just improving. So you will go through, just like any human endeavor, you learn the same process. And however, there is a higher advanced level process where you can clearly apply the counts, utilize a chart pattern recognition, and effectively and reproducibly and consistently be able to forward discern the price pathway. That all takes time. It's really just a skill set. And how do you know you're at that level, let's say? Without any labels, when you see your chart, you pretty much see that forward discernment, because you can already visualize what's going on. And you can already see even the target that's going to come up or come down. And that state or that level usually separates the men from the children, let's say. And anyone can attain that state or get to that level because it's just a matter of practice. But there's a factor called talent. And that talent is quite often innate and inborn. That's why I see a good number of technical analysts who are very accurate counters. They can count better than me. Their precision and mechanics and following the rules, they are sticklers. They're the ones who want to argue with you as to where the placement of wave B is here. It could be a little higher or wherever. And whenever I meet those people and they want to argue, I just say, you win. I don't want to argue with people like that. There's no happiness to be found in that. And then these people who are very tactically oriented and technically accurate, they couldn't do a forecast worth shit. They're consistently wrong. And their accurate calls are really equal to that of a broken clock quite often. And I'm not debunking them as people, but they don't have the talent, clearly. So those of you who are embarking on the technical analysis route, you'll find that out. sooner or later. There are many who will just give up out of frustration because it's too hard. There are many who will keep at it maybe and then give up because they find that they don't have the talent. They keep getting wrong projections. And then there are those who will come out to be decamillionaires because they have the talent. Now, don't confuse talent for technical proficiency. It's very different. In the 80s, there was a very tiny violinist from Japan, Midori, who at the age of 5, 7 was just phenomenal. She can play the Mendelssohn concertos, world renowned, and everyone just loved her. She was so cute at the same time too. But at that age to what she's playing right now, there's a big difference. But at that age, she was technically proficient. Her notes were in tune, her rhythm was correct. She was technically flawless. But she didn't have what's called, in music, called musicality. She was not really truly at that age able to make people laugh, dance, and cry with her music because she didn't have the innate expression ability to carry over with her sentiment into what she plays. Now she does at her age. So that's really what I'm trying to say. All right, now back to the chart. You have A, B, and C. I'm counting 5 waves here, 3 waves for B, and 5 waves down. What kind of a correction is that? If you go to any one of my blogs, at the very end, here are the links. Please consider reviewing these tutorials. Please take a look at these. It'll be extremely helpful to you, I think. I think, if anything at all, you'll get some tidbit of value out of it that you can apply for yourself. And in this tutorial, in the correction tutorial for tutorial number 2, I clearly explain a zigzag Elliott wave correction, which is 5 waves as subwaves for A, 3 waves as subwaves for B, and 5 waves as subwaves for C. So if A is done, B is done, I think C is more than halfway done. Or halfway done. Yeah, more than half. Now, let's take a look at this in a little more higher resolution. So let's do some chart surgical microscopy. Can we count 5 waves? Let's follow. Let me move this here for a little bit. Let's draw some lines first. It can be seen to be going within a channel. Beautiful. What does that mean? When it's usually going within a channel, that means it's going to impulse. That means there will be 5 waves. Okay, so let me see if I can count what we have and project where we will go. All right, here we go. I have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you might be asking, well, what the hell do you do? What is this? Well, I'm not done yet. Now, I'm going to count the subwaves. 1, 2, 3, 4 of 3. So what you're seeing here is 1, 2 of the wave 3. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the blue is now counting the subwaves of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Get rid of that. Let me take a picture of this for the summary. 1 sec. This could look a little messy, but if you follow my dialogue, it makes perfect Elliott wave sense. Remember the recent correction that we had where we had the expanded flat? And I was saying this is just a correction. It's a healthy thing to go through. And I will repeat the same thing. This is clearly, by every freaking indication, a correction. 5, 3, 5. And if you were equipped with that conceptual understanding, you would not be panicking. In fact, I'm getting freaking excited here. Why? I'm not insane. I'm getting excited because when is the best time to get back in and buy? When is the best time to get back in and buy? And if you go to the tutorial, buy, sell setups, when to buy, when to sell tutorial, it explains it all. The best time to buy is at the terminal end of an A, B, C correction. Ladder in right here. And how do I know when the terminal end of the correction will happen? I'm going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not going to be precision like this always. You'll have to do updates and revisions. Because like I said, it's not Elliott waves is not a glass crystal ball. It's simply a probabilistic assessment tool. So I've got 5, 3, 1, 2. It's working on 3 now. Then there's going to be a 4. And then there's going to be a low, and that low has to be lower than the low of A. And that low could be over here. But I don't want to go lower than the 1. But let's say, what if it does go lower than the 1? I can just see someone, a critic coming out. Oh, you're wrong, Hedgen. You got invalidated. Your 5 went below 1. You're wrong. Try again. Exactly. I will try again. Because I know the scenario already equipped in my mind as to if it does go below 1, that this needs to be revised. That this is not 1. Okay? But rather, this becomes a lower, lesser degree so that this can then still surpass that 1. But let's not even discuss that until we get there. This, anything below A, in my case, would be a beautiful time to ladder in. Now this is my zigzag. Now what else could you see? What else could happen? Well, let's draw some lines. When in doubt, draw some lines across the tops and across the bottoms of the triangles. Now this is my alternate. You know how cryptos love triangles. They do. What would this look like? How would I count this? If this is a symmetrical triangle, I could count this as a beautiful A, B, C, D, and E. And the wave 4 will go right here. Beautiful. What other forward discernment could you have? Could draw a line like this. Could draw a line like that. Price could go like this. What kind of triangle is this called? An ascending right triangle. The variation is pretty amazing. But notice here that I'm not only using Elliott waves. I am combining chart pattern with Elliott waves. That is where the power of my algorithm comes from. Combination of chart patterns and Elliott wave assessment and MACD, which I don't use all the time, but I do use. And when you can get and generate the scenario of this types using pattern Elliott wave combination, it becomes very powerful. It does two things. It gives you the visibility and awareness of what possible patterns and price directions can go, so that when it goes down further, you are aware as to how that fits in to exactly what pattern and what Elliott wave count. That awareness will keep you from panicking. That awareness as to how that price move and the direction of that corrected price move, having the awareness of just about every possibility out there, will keep you from being surprised. That is when you stop asking whenever you see a sudden correction like this, oh, what just happened? What's going on? Let me go find the gurus. Let me go find the news. Let me go find the event that's causing this. You don't need to, because you're already aware of it. And that is coming from confidence, not arrogance. It's very different. That is coming from confidence, from the awareness that you have of the possibilities and the probable directions. And any one of the price actions will fill one of your awareness of those probabilities or possibilities. Are there times where every one of your probabilities are completely wrong? It turns out to be a possibility that you didn't consider? Yes. The better you get, the less that happens. The novice you are, more that happens. And that's an important distinction. With experience comes greater accuracy in projection. I also said corrections have about 36 possible combinations. That means you have 1 in less than 3%, 2.7% chance of getting the correction right. But usually you can find the terminal end of a correction By the time the correction is done, it shows itself. It opens its code. And then you'll be able to determine where the terminal end, whether it's this or ABC terminal end, to be able to ladder back in or add. When I say buy the dips, I don't mean buy it here, wherever you want. Buy the dips at the terminal end of the correction. That's what I mean by BTFD. It doesn't mean buy at anything lower now. I mean, it's silly to buy it here when you know that this is going to be an ABC. Let's say a much lower low is coming. So BTFD for me means buy the terminal end of that correction. Now I have received and given already a good number of one-on-one coaching, and people are being helped by that. And I think something of this complexity is very difficult to learn just by reading on your own and watching my videos. And I know my common interactions are minimal from an exposure point of view. And I've put up my tutorials, and coaching could be something that could be of value for some. It all depends on how and best people learn. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen with just one coaching. Maybe some it could. It all depends on your aptitude. But if that is something that you feel that you like to take as a next step, I am offering coaching. And you can contact me at hedging_crypto@yahoo.com. Okay? And this will be a one-on-one session for an hour long, and the hour passes very quickly. And you have to have a Skype account because I share my chart so that you can see it as well. One thing I do not do is video of myself. I like to stay visually anonymous as possible. So let me know if maybe we can fit you in somewhere somehow. Right now I'm going out to next week, end of next week and further out. It's getting booked pretty heavily, but I will do less of my non-Steemian client coaching and a little more on the Steemian coaching with a reduced rate. So let me know, and if that can be something that can be of help, I'm more than happy to do so. So that's it. I hope I have earned the right to ask you for your upvotes. And I am seeing steadily my followers increase. The comments have a lot of comments saying thank you. And that means a lot. Those are confirmation that people are being helped. And that makes me truly happy because that is my objective. If there's anything significant going on during the day, I'll put out a midday update. Otherwise, I'll talk to you again tonight. Have a good day. And as always, I wish you massive profits that to be made. So let's get it.